Good morning, and welcome back to Talking Money and Stuff with Bob, where we will see if I can continue my march towards a ton of dividends in a survivor's IRA. Overall, another pretty good week, plus a JEPI week. That's right, the JP Morgan Premium Income ETF also paid, and we'll add that into the total and see how we did. Now, as I had alluded to in an earlier video, at some point you gotta sell. And I was talking about selling my Archer Daniels Midland. It is a good, solid company. I love this company. Again, Grandpa investing, which I will talk about in a future video. What would Grandpa buy? Archer Daniels Midland is absolutely one of those companies. It's a good, stable, well-run company, and it is in agriculture, and people have to eat. So the argument here is if you invest in agriculture, well, it's not sexy, it's not exciting, it's boring, but it's steady and it pays, and I hated selling it. But I made about an $85 capital gain and then sold Archer Daniels Midland and plowed that money back into the covered call ETFs. The simple truth of the matter is I wasn't making enough in yearly dividends to justify keeping it in there. I made a capital gain, and that's good. I will plow that money back into the covered call ETFs and probably earn more in covered call dividends off of that $515 than I would in dividends for the entire year. So that's what I did. I also sold VGLT, the Vanguard Long-Term Treasury Fund, for the exact same reason. Again, I love stability. I love bonds, particularly tax-free investing in bonds, investing in municipal bonds, which I will cover in a future video. Obviously, I can't have those here in an IRA, but I love the idea of good, stable, highly rated bonds. And you don't get much that's higher rated than U.S. Treasuries. But again, they just weren't paying enough for me to justify keeping the money in there. So, like Archer Daniels Midland, I sold VGLT. Now, I took the money from both and plowed it into the covered call ETFs, as you can see, and away we go. For both of these equities, I'm sorry to lose them. They're great equities. They add a lot of stability to my portfolio, but I'm just not making enough to justify keeping it there. And I firmly believe that I will make more in dividends in the first few weeks off of the money that I invested from the sale of these two equities than I would make probably in an entire year. So that was the rationale behind it. Away we go. Let's start with Gladstone Land Corporation. I earned $18.03 on this wonderful little real estate investment trust, and of course plowed that back into that stock. Gladstone Land Corporation is a real estate investment trust specializing in farmland. They own a ton of farmland. They lease it out to farmers. Farmers work the land, earn their profits, and pay rent back to Gladstone. Gladstone then passes that rent back to the shareholders in the form of dividends. I own both preferred and common stock in this company across several of my accounts. I really like this company, and I'm going to hold on to it. So there's $18.03 right there, dripped back into the account. JEPI, JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income Fund, paid $12.75, which I dripped back into the account. JEPI is kind of the granddaddy of these covered call funds, certainly one of the first covered call funds from a mainstream, certainly well-established investment house. It is not the sexiest fund, it is not the highest flyer, but it pays between about 8 to 10% every month, not bad at all, and I'm just going to hold on to it for the time being. Now, if JEPI went very, very high and I could sell it and make some good gains on that, I would. But for now, it adds a little bit of stability in what is otherwise a pretty risky account. So I'm just going to leave it in there and let that money ride. Now on to the stars of the show, the weekly paying covered call ETFs. Overall, $203.24 total in dividends just from these. Not a bad week at all, although again, YMAG, the Yield Max Magnificent 7 Fund, is again bringing up the rear. Let's take a look. Working from the bottom up, XDTE returned $51.39, pretty doggone good. QDTE, $40.17. RDTE, $45.95. ULTY, $41.51. YMAG, there it is, the Yield Max Magnificent 7 Fund, only $11.84, while YMAX, The YieldMax Universe Fund of Funds returned 53.89. Not bad at all. Now, I probably should be a little bit more charitable towards YMAG. There's a lot of volatility in the tech area, and Mr. Trump's tariffs aren't making it very easy for these tech companies to plan ahead. And I think that may be scaring off some investors, and that may be reducing the number of options that YMAG is able to sell. I don't know, that's just an idea on my part. But I am a little bit upset that it's returning so little, and I really would like for it to start returning a lot more. Hopefully it will be able to do so in the future. There's just so much money to be made in these 7 stocks that I feel like it should be producing more. But again, I'm sure there are other factors at play, so maybe I should be a little bit less critical. Time will tell. One thing I forgot to add was that VGLT paid its final dividend to me, probably its final dividend, there may be a couple pennies next month, of $2.51. And of course, that's nice. Just plowed that right back in and put it into the money market. So, drum roll please. When we add everything up, we come to a grand total of $236.53 on the week, and that includes all the covered call ETFs, JEPI, VGLT, etc. Overall, not a bad week. Anything over $200 a week is good, and I'm happy with. I would like to see it go a bit higher. Again, here come these complaints about YMAG again. But anything over $200, I will be happy with. I'll just keep putting that money right back in, and away we go. I'm hoping I can stay on track with one video every week, but I'm just not sure about that. I'm a high school teacher, and I go back to work in a few days. Yes, the first semester is beckoning. So I may or may not be able to keep up my schedule of roughly one video per week. If you've noticed, they've been coming a bit later in the week because I've been busy, not just the Kauai trip, but with other things as I prepare for the new school year. So anyone who says teachers get the summers off, think again. We're working. So as a result, my videos may be a bit later. Hopefully I can keep up with my schedule, but time will tell as we get ready to head back for the new school year. As always, none of this is intended as investment advice. I am not a financial professional. I'm just a guy doing a few things with his account. This may work for me, it may not. You always need to make your own financial decisions. Possibly consider consulting a qualified financial planner licensed to work in your jurisdiction. Do your own research and make your own financial decisions. If you found this helpful or fun in any way, awesome. But in the end, you have to make your own decisions and become financially literate on your own. Hey, time to get back to work. I got to drive to school today and actually start cleaning my room up. So it's been fun. Have a great rest of the week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.